And another motherfucking thing.
I am crying.
Niggas ain't shit.
Oh my god. Hey y'all. Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Coco. I think I need to start this episode. Today's going to be a few disclaimers, okay? When I came into the studio today, Canbeats, the producer, had made me a drink called Styles Aid, which is his very own drink, and it is raspberry lemonade and Bacardi Dragonberry. And he made the drink very well, like it actually tastes like lemonade. And he's finished his cup, and I am hot. So we don't know how this show is supposed to go.
I can handle my
Don't
liquor.
say I ain't warned y'all in advance. But hello, happy Friday. Happy
Can
after
Beats Day.
Thursday. Dang.
Happy Can Beats Day.
Let me just go ahead and get there because I had a whole intro plan for him. And yeah, so this is how we start an episode. Yes, Tone, mind your business, okay? Before we go any further, I just want to take a moment and let you all know that today is National Can Beats Day. Let me give him a round of applause.
Yay, woo, woo,
Yay.
woo. Nigga.
Yeah.
It's gonna have. It's a good delay once you. It's gonna start.
Tone, did you hear an applause while you out there? But yes, today is Canbeats' birthday. We're not gonna say how old he is, but he up in here with this young nigga haircut, y'all. Ready for the summertime. But happy birthday to Canbeats, aka Tommy Styles, aka you mad because I'm styling on them. BKA Mr. Miles, if you're nasty.
Oh wow.
Today is his birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy Canbeats Day. How have you been enjoying your birthday so far at this new age?
I'm not ashamed.
That I've determined that I don't like already, but go ahead.
I'm not ashamed of my age. I am the healthy, hearty age of 51.
Oh, you said yay.
I am
and he looked like he about
relaxed
44, 45 with his haircut.
That's what my daughter said today. Mm-hmm. She said
not 51. A lot of grays. And I also want to bring to the forefront that a lot of you young niggas out here with these receding hairlines and these bald spots, y'all losing y'all hair. But he 51 and he got all his hair. He got his hairline. He got all of that. So I don't know what y'all doing compared to
no bean.
No bean. What you call it? Beijing?
Bean. I don't know how. I don't.
None of the bean. Like when he sweat, the black stuff don't run down his forehead. So I don't know what you young niggas doing, but
apparently I got a thought haircut. Allegedly. That's what Tone say. Sound like hate.
I mean, it is a little thotty. So since you had this haircut, you ain't been getting no extra attention.
No.
You can't even keep a straight face.
No, I have not.
You telling lies. All right. Happy birthday, nigga.
Yeah, I got me a great deal on my tickets to Puerto Rico.
So. Yes, you did. How long did that take?
It didn't take long. Well, you did help me a little bit.
Yeah, it took like it was over an hour.
But I don't have a really good I don't have experience.
He's not a traveler like that.
No, I don't travel. I travel old school. I do drive. I don't mind driving. I like flying and stuff. But when it's time to like catch a deal, or I don't do it enough to know all of the websites and all the tricks and trade.
The good thing about it is that he got the flight deal on Southwest. And y'all know Southwest be taxing sometime. So not only did he get a good deal, but he got a good deal out of Milwaukee, and it's only one stop. Right?
One stop.
It's only one stop. Before it was gonna be like 2 stops. Before that, it was Spirit. But now he can fly Southwest with his 2 free bags. One stop. He get the snacks, the comfort. And he spent a very decent amount for where he's going. So shout out to him.
I almost got it to be under $200. Almost, but they only the credit I had, they only allowed me to use a certain amount. They didn't let me use the left. Yeah, I forgot. I was trying to figure out why it was still over $200 because after my calculations, it should have been like $180.
Well, I mean, even with the credit and stuff, it still wasn't good.
Yeah, the credit
for where you're going and for it to be Southwest and the dates and all of that, I think you made out pretty good.
Yeah.
So now you can go to Puerto Rico with your niggas.
I'm working on my buddy passes.
You got to get you one of those like little papi chulo, like one of them
the
hats, and then you got to get you like one of those shirts and have the buttons open.
All right, I got my 4-day routine set up already.
Oh
yeah,
niggas turning 51 and you done got your clothes together. Because I remember a time. Well, you grew up. I'm proud of you, friend.
I mean, I still got a couple more things to get, but my one of my best friends, his brother is getting married, and we were having a bachelor party in Puerto Rico. So that's
gonna be a time.
It's gonna be a good time.
Let's take Peep Game is going on the road.
Yes, it's
see if we get some footage.
Grown ass man excursion. Yes.
Let's see if we get some old school road trip.
Usually we do get I'll bring a device there and you should.
I think that would be dope.
We record ourselves while we're there, and I'll upload the audio.
Record what's video and whatnot. By the way, Peep Game, blowradio.com. Some Mondays.
Look at you being a friend.
Some Mondays.
What?
From 5 p.m. No, Tuesdays.
It's been the last 9
Tuesdays.
It's been the last 9 Tuesdays, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in a row. We've had a streak.
You right.
Man.
But go listen to them niggas, y'all. But anyway,
thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Did I tell y'all it's Can Beats Day? Okay.
It is Can Beats Day. I ain't got to tell you about that shout out too. But let's go ahead and get
Wait, you don't like my shout out?
It was a little messy. We'll chat.
And I know what it was. It can't wait. Hold on, before you know.
Just a smidge. And we're gonna get into the mood segment.
And
producer.
Before I even gave the shout out, I did not give them any inkling that I was doing that, and they all joined in and shouted you out together.
That was cute.
That was without me actually. It wasn't fake.
It was cute and it was genuine.
My presentation may have been one way, but the ending was they all joined in without a rib, and that is a huge step.
That's because you had ribbed me already.
They would thank you. How did I rib you?
I'm gonna tell you. We about to get into this mood segment.
Like damn, she on move. Like damn, she on move.
Today's mood segment is going to be a little different. I could not figure. I really didn't have a song, but one thing I will say is 7 p.m. Friday. It's maybe about 75 degrees. I ain't got no nigga, and no nigga ain't got me. That's the Friday theme song. So, ladies, while y'all getting ready to go out to dine, or if you at home, whatever, make sure you turn that on, nigger or not.
Yeah, if y'all out there celebrating Can Beats today. Okay, I'm done.
Whatever. So we are going to go in this video that I think is absolutely hilarious. Now, I want to say the song is not appropriate for a child her age to be listening to or singing, but she's so cute. And yeah, we're going to go into it. This is my mood for today. Yes. So that's definitely my mood for today. Now, in that, what I found was something very interesting. So, I saw the video on Instagram. I was scrolling through the comments and somebody actually tagged her and tagged her mom. So I clicked on her page to go and look at it. And I was able to find this video that I thought was super cool. So go ahead and play that second. Yeah, that one.
Mustard on a beat. I like mustard on my burgers. Okay, catch up to me. Real stuff because prepper. Easy, yeah, I be. On the stage on my feet. Yeah, who they came to see. They not like us cause we winning. And my sister and me, yeah, we twinning. I been my way, you can play when I'm finished. Setting new records all day, called Guinness. You know we the latest. Like trees on Christmas. They not like us while we do it, they wish. Huh, sometimes you gotta pop out and stun on them. Young's girl, we doing it like, let me do I want on. Yeah, yesterday love had to pull, had some fun on them. Yesterday, but today my rock a bun on a who's ferry on the way. Telling us we go dumb in the spray. Watch me go slowly, getting cheese every day. Need my macaroni. They be trying to get like me, just watch closely. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, I going dumb. Wow, 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 wow. I'ma do my stuff. How you hating on me? I'm a minor. Simon says you hit, then that boy's a liar. Sit back, sit back. Sit
Now that part was funny. I
She
didn't.
said, I'm a
listen that part.
minor.
That remind me of y'all and them stupid.
I don't have it on your
But yeah, I thought that was super cute. So, yeah, of course the song is absolutely ridiculous, but you know, that's neither here nor there. So today I am going to do what I feel like is a different kind of show. I feel like it's kind of out of my scope, for several reasons. So I always talk about how I hold myself accountable and I'm always in like this reflective space and I'm always open to coming into new knowledge. And if that means changing my thought process and my perspective on things, I'm open to it, right? So in multiple episodes, I have expressed that, well, how should I preface this? So we're going to talk about male vulnerability today. And I am going to preface this by saying that a lot of my thoughts and opinions and perspectives about men are based off, it comes from a hurt place because of my past, because of trauma that I've experienced from them. And that is not the most effective way of going about things. If I plan to have a healthy relationship with a man in the future, which who knows where I am with that right now, I understand that I'm not going to be able to have that thought process. And so in being in spaces with men who are healthy, men who are emotionally available and emotionally intelligent and good men overall, it does change the way that you look at other men, right? Because it takes the focus off of the ones that ain't shit and it switches the focus over to the ones that actually are. So with the show today, I wanted to talk about men being vulnerable and how as a woman I am realizing what they mean when they say that it's difficult. So when it comes to men like opening up and talking about their thoughts, their feelings, their frustrations, the number one thing I always hear is that they don't want to do it because they don't want the subject matter to be like weaponized or used against them. Now, previously, anytime I would hear them say that, and even if I don't even necessarily want to say previously because I can't say I won't say this again, but I always wonder, why it's like, okay, if you don't want to be vulnerable with a woman, then why don't you create your own spaces? I don't feel like men have enough spaces for them to go to be vulnerable in. Now with women, we have like women empowerment groups and Facebook groups and friend groups and all of these different groups that we're able to be vulnerable in. And I don't see that for men. And probably because, I'm not a man. So I'm not a man. So why would I know or why would I see it or have access to it? But I have seen and witnessed situations where a man was vulnerable and women just completely like trashed it. And with me being a very empathetic person, even if it is a man, it's like, okay, you're still a human and it's pretty fucked up that you opened up, especially in a situation for the world to see. And this is a result of it. So first, I'm going to read to you all a post that I made, and I made the post for men to respond to only. And that's the thing too. We joke about this on social media as far as me in certain settings, but you'll see a post and a post will be like, men only. I have a question, XYZ. And then you'll see men commenting, and then you'll see women in the comments. They said men only. You are not a man, so why are you in this space with men? And they literally said men only. And then it's like, oh, I didn't even read that part. This is not the space for you. They created the space for them. You stay out of it. And so there have been so many posts, and it's a laughing thing now. I have seen women on posts that say men only, and I will go on there and be like, you need to get off of here. This is not the space for you. Or I have literally inboxed and been like, hey, delete that. Like all of them delete it because it's not the space for them and they're messing it up. That it's not appropriate. So I said, I have some questions and I would like a response from men only. No comments or placeholders from any women, please. Men, do you have any issues being or showing vulnerability? Why or why not? Can you provide an example to your comfort level where your vulnerability was used against you? And then I also say, do you have a safe space you can go when you need to talk? Who does that consist of? and then what is their like title or their like relationship in your life if they felt comfortable enough to state it. So I did get 2 responses. It looks like both of them generally said that they don't have those issues anymore. One of them even said that in his opinion, being silent is self-sabotage, which he doesn't recommend. They said that one of them said that he can't think of any situations where it was used against him face to face, but there was definitely some behind his back. And both of them pretty much said that they had people that they can go to if they felt like they needed the space to be vulnerable. Now, I don't think you commented on this one, Mr. Canbeat. So I have a question for you. Now, based off of whether you say yes or no, we'll kind of flow with it from there. So do you yourself have any issues being vulnerable or showing vulnerability? Why or why not?
With anyone, or are we just speaking with my friends?
I would say in general, like with anybody. Like if it's a moment where it requires vulnerability, do you have any issues showing it?
If full throttle vulnerability is a 10 and 0 is absolutely not, I would rate my level of comfort being maybe 7 or 8. As far
as you don't have an issue with it?
Well, yeah, without having an issue.
Okay,
I mean, there's still issue with certain things and certain people knowing those things that I'm still a little bit more close to the chest with.
Because of course it depends on the space you're in.
Yes.
The setting, who's in it.
Right. And me knowing the pattern of responses I've gotten in the past regarding situations that I know, and you know, that's poor judgment on my part to assume that someone's going to come to me the same way they always came, but really haven't shown me anything different. So at the same time, I'm really cautious about it. Now, if there's another platform, another way to actually gauge that temperature and I can still share it, I can still share it.
Yeah. So have you ever had any situations where you were vulnerable and it was used against you?
I want to say yes, but I can't say that I was, because remember I gauged it at like 7. So what I shared was possibly a 5.
Okay.
And the way it was used back on me was the other person assuming they knew the other 5. So they were they jumped in and said, well, you said this, so that means this kind of thing. I was like, well, that's not what I meant. So I can see where you went with that, but that's not my story.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really clear, but.
And then as far as safe spaces, now one thing with me, I feel like, and I'm not, well, I don't want to use the term I'm not perfect because I actually think I do really good with this, but because of who I am as a person, I provide people with safe spaces. I'm always like, I'm here for you. If you need to talk, you can come to me and I'll be a safe space. Like I've even been dubbed a human vault. The amount of things that I have on the inside, even currently, that are like secrets or things about people and I don't reveal them. I know, but before we started the show, so I told you that I got some information about some people and you were like, why they tell you? Because I'm a vault. No, that was something. No, that is
what they telling you for?
Horrible example.
Because I'm a vault. And I am.
Here's one thing I will say. As far as you, I will say that yes. And I think that I know that with us being friends, I have definitely, like, you are someone that I would consider a safe space. And I think the thing that helps is that
I'm smiling.
A lot of times my thoughts and my feelings and like my frustrations are scattered. They're chaotic. They're random. They're all over the place. And so it keeps me from being able to speak up to everybody because I can give it to you and you would be absolutely confused by it. But you're definitely one of the people, and maybe because of the way your thought process is, that I can give you a bunch of like the jumbled up stuff in my mind and you'll be like, oh yeah. so you mean XYZ? And I'm like, yes, this is what I mean. And so we're able to dialogue about it, and I can leave that conversation. And I'm like, okay, that actually felt good
I would like
to
to
release
say
that.
I'm
But
skilled at it, but that is very happenstance.
and of course my friends are excellent with that. But I think that from as a man, you probably are the only man in my life that is able to handle me in that way when I have those moments. Because I feel like a lot of men probably don't know how to handle somebody that's random, chaotic, kind of all over the place when they're like in that because you know how I get when I'm emotional.
I can't handle you.
And that could be
I can't. I mean, I'm just being
well,
honest.
not to that, not 100%, but on the lower end, I feel like you do good when it's not extreme.
All right.
I'll give you that because it could be a lot.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, I say I
It's
know
a little ownership there. Yeah.
When I know I can be a lot. We not even finna sit like here, but we also not finna sit here and act like you.
I'm not saying that. I never said I was perfect at it. I just know that
and we've come a long way because it ain't always been like this.
It's a struggle to get to where we need to go as far as that.
It has. What I just said was actually is very recent. We have not always been. It takes work to get to that space because. Oh, okay. So I was kind of. It has taken work to get to this space.
Nobody asked your ask, Mimi. It's Can Beats Day, and we are ignoring negativity.
What I just said, it took time to get to that space, and I would say recently, within the last couple of months, because friendship is not easy. So we had our ups and downs. He'll tell you I will cuss him the hell out, and
you try.
We would
continue.
We might stop talking, but it's a work in progress. So yes, I needed to make sure I cleaned it up because it ain't always been like this. This is new. This is newer. But
she don't know what she's talking about. So
I want to. What did she say?
Not my fault. I came in on a lie. Oh, you using the Lord and your name at the same time is blasphemous. We had a storm already.
The last situation I talked about, this is new. Sometimes you got to sort through some.
I know it's new. Shit. I know it's new. Yeah, and I have to my interpretation.
And we don't know if it's permanent. This is just recent.
I don't communicate well with you through text.
Oh no, we definitely don't. No, no, and that's the
thing. Last
too.
thing
if
you came
to. I would say too, when it comes to being vulnerable, you have to. It's important how you do that. Because it's like, okay, are you doing it online? Are you doing it over the phone? Are you doing it via text message? And if it is a vulnerable moment that you're having, tone is very important in how you do that. I have a lot of my vulnerable moments online. It works for me. Because it doesn't work for some other people, they cringe at it.
Well, that's the problem with social media. So, for example, when you posted the thing about food, it's easy to believe that we all see the same message. And one person will go out there and be like, my kids ain't starving. You got to feed the food. She took it to the left because the context of what they saw.
Oh, you talking about the school stomach?
Right.
Oh,
the school stomach and the summer stomach. You're when you put something in words, you're allowing the person reading it to actually interpret the way they want to. And it's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah. So when if you are being vulnerable and, the situation is going to get heated, you do have to understand that there are individuals that you're not going to be able to do that via text. If we into it, it can't be a text message. It's gonna have to be a phone call or a face-to-face, because if it's in a text message, it's gonna go absolutely horribly wrong, and then we're not gonna be friends anymore.
I'm gonna tell you,
but I think that's something that we recognize, and you shift it.
So in the future, because we just had a situation where some vulnerability was exploited because you called me and I couldn't answer, and then you text me. And
why is she...
No, just let me
prove this.
But at the same time, what I would need to do is actually say, I cannot fully read nor interpret what you're sending me right now because I'm not in the space to actually do it. Because I'll skim over it really quick and think I get the gist of it, and then answer or respond or gauge whether or not I should respond fast enough off of my skimming if I'm doing two things at the same time, and that's my fault. So I need to be like, I'm not in a space to actually fully comprehend this right now.
Yeah, it's communication. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to it. Texting actually is a little bit more difficult because you have to actually verbalize way more thoughts because you're thinking one thing and writing another, and you can't.
And like
sometimes
I said,
not always connect that.
the tone is important.
Well, tone and complete thought, because your thought in your head and what you text isn't always as
Yeah.
thorough. It's not. It's like your text is a paraphrase of your thought.
And that's why sometimes you got to pick up the phone. And I think even in that moment with me being pissed, because once I'm pissed and I'm upset, that just is it for me. It's really, I said what I said, and that's just what it is. And I'm quick to be like, and don't talk to me, and don't call me, and don't text me. And I mean, that's not always effective. And then
especially when I call,
you call, and then we're friends again. But I want to play this video. This is Corey Hardrick. I think that's how you say his name. Ex-husband of Tia Mowry. I know Tia and Tamir. They were together for about, I think, over 16 years. When he met her, the story goes that they basically met each other and he had like nothing. And they built a life together and now they're divorced. So I wanted to play this video and then talk about it.
You're going through something alone and no one understands, and no one's there for you, and it's just like, when you're a man, especially a black man, they're like, oh, he's tough, he's strong, but it was a year and a half crying myself to sleep every night. Nobody see that.
Yeah.
Nobody see that.
Yeah.
You live 5 minutes away from your babies, you know what I'm saying? Because people who know Corey Hardrick know that his kids and his family was everything to him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm stronger than I thought I was.
Yes.
I'm really stronger. And that by the grace of God, it's like I'm here and I'm still going.
Now, this is the most that he said since they got divorced. Most of the talking has really been her. And even in her speaking, she has never said anything bad about him. He has never said anything bad about her. They've never come out and said the reason for the divorce. All we know is that she filed and we don't know why. And he had this vulnerable moment and people were probably wondering like, well, why would he choose this space to do it? Well, this was like a press run for a Tyler Perry movie that him and Megan Good are starring in, and it's a movie about divorce. And Megan Good is actually the one that brought him into the space. So with me being an empathetic person, I felt bad for him. And the reason I felt bad is because I went to the comment section and oh my goodness, so many people speaking like against him and against him being vulnerable. And they're speaking on a situation that nobody knows about. So this person here, it said,
you need me to read it?
Yeah, because it's the logo is in the way.
Oh, hold on.
I mean, you can read it. We hear.
I still need to get rid of it. So, all right.
Okay. It says she cried herself to sleep every night because she was miserable in the marriage. He did the same after it was over. Both of their pain is valid. Please don't pit them against each other and try to take sides. That one is not the bad one.
Yeah.
So let's take a scroll.
And mind you, that's not taking sides unless this is like a disclaimer for everybody else. You want the replies to this
down.
or
yeah. No, scroll down on the okay, wait, nope. Interesting. Women don't just wake up. So I mean, that was kind of an assumption. That person was saying a lot of these. Wait, I feel like you're scrolling too fast. A lot of these comments are the reason men won't open up. Yeah.
I guess I want to know where the comments are.
That's what you.
I opened up, but
you talking about the comments I was talking about earlier?
Yes.
I didn't. If you keep scrolling, I didn't scroll for too long before I saw one.
Okay.
You keep scrolling down.
This is very impromptu, people. I know that.
And you opened up too many of them.
These aren't the replies. These are just the. Oh yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually how it goes when a woman is the one who ends the relationship. 9 times out of 10, when a woman ends a relationship, she's been done and has processed the loss. Most men feel it, and after we leave.
And then again, we don't know why she ended it. Like maybe they outgrew each other. Maybe she just felt like she wanted to be single. We don't know that it was even his faults that, she left. Keep scrolling.
Okay.
Maybe it was
Narcissistic behavior. I see straight
Oh,
through
your
it.
favorite
He
word.
has. I hate narcissistic word. People, I'm a.
Don't you? Nope.
No, I
Said
just want
you-
to say I am a not a linguist, but I words mean a lot. And over time, when people overuse words with social media, it's used so frequently that it's kind of like
It loses the meaning.
the grapevine, like the telephone game. Like as the
Mhm.
message goes and goes and
Yeah.
goes and goes, it's at the end, that narcissism doesn't mean the
I
same
talked
thing.
about that on a previous show. When my friend was on and we talked about pop psychology.
Yes.
And how people take words, like you said, like narcissism, and it kind of becomes something that it's not. Just like the term trauma bond, people made it something that it's actually not.
Just because I'm talking about myself doesn't make me a narcissist.
Yeah. So basically, the
I'm-
comments were just filled with like, "Yeah, you was cheating, and you was treating her like shit." And I was like, "Where did
So
y'all
like, how
get
did this person know
from?"
this?
Like,
He was
y'all-
always annoyed by her in every interview, and she clearly couldn't be herself around him.
I've seen in blogs that they've had interviews where it seemed like he was annoyed by her, and it was like this awkwardness. But again, who knows? This man been crying and Tia over there, crip walking to some Kendrick. But yeah, the comments were just like they were a lot, and I was like, as like what in my mind, I was like, okay, what if he's the one reading this? Like that would probably make me feel like shit and make me feel like I didn't want to be open anymore. And it made me sad for him. I mean, I don't know him, but kind of going back to what I said earlier, at the top of my mind, it definitely was like, okay, I guess I can kind of see how, they're saying that, okay, you can't be vulnerable because then look, these are the type of things that happen.
This comment right here is
Which one?
poignant. I do not understand our society. Men express emotions, and he is met with criticism. Women express their feelings, and she's met with compassion.
And I'm not exactly sure. Number one, I'm not sure why it's like that. And number two, it made me think, like, how do we move forward from that? How do we move forward to where everybody feels emotionally safe? Like, I can't say that I want somebody that's emotionally available or emotionally intelligent as far as a man. Of course, I want a man that's emotionally available and emotionally intelligent. If he doesn't have the space to be able to do that. And I feel like for me, if I was a guy reading that, I think that I would feel a way about that. And again, I could say that I was definitely, just like I said earlier in the show, it was like, whatever, don't nobody care, you this, you that. And that's coming from a hurt place. But once you've put in work towards your healing, you see comments like that and you just look at it differently.
Well,
And it was like, this man said he spent 1.5 years like crying himself to sleep and just kind of going through that thought process of like, 1 minute you're in the house with your family and that's your life. And then the very next moment you're trying to figure out how to relive life without your family. You're trying to figure, you're waking up in a house where your wife and your children are not there anymore. So I can imagine that is a process. And then, like he said, like you're going through it alone.
I was hoping that, because after I saw this, it was not triggering, because I'm not going to keep using verbiage that's thrown out everywhere, but it did kind of spark a thought and a feeling when I saw it, because as a person who was married and a person who was divorced, one thing that I can speak on is people who have not been married cannot equate marriage with a very serious relationship. Some people try to say, well, I had never been married, but I've been in a really serious committed relationship. And we had kids and whatnot. Although that's very similar, it's not marriage. It's just not. Like, it's hard to, it's kind of like, it's like talking it's like talking to someone about having a child and rearing a child, and it's someone who doesn't have one, but have really close nieces and nephews.
It's not the same.
Like, that's,
I say all the time, I feel like it's not the same.
It's not your, like, my whole perspective changed when my daughter was born and they gave her to me.
Yeah.
That's a feeling that you cannot describe. Me holding my niece and me holding my daughter are two completely different things.
Because with your niece, you're handing that back.
Right. I love my niece to death. She called me and wished me happy birthday today. And we talked. We always have spoken. And I love her like a daughter, but she's not my daughter.
Yeah.
She's my brother's daughter. And he feels the same way about mine. But
Yeah.
if it comes down to it, like, hey, that's just not mine. The other part of that is divorce. I did not know what divorce was like until I got divorced. And it's not a breakup. It's not like all right, we just not together no more.
It's different.
It's completely different.
And people can tell you, like, I think that even when other people have gone through divorce and they try to give you like, yeah, I went through it, you're going to go through this, and this, that could very well be true, but you still don't know what it's going to be like until
you're not ready.
Actually go through it. Because some people get divorced and it's like, whoo, I'm back out here. I'm good. But you have other people like how he opened up and said, yeah, I was crying myself to sleep.
Sometimes that's a
it's a way of grieving and a way of getting
right,
over it. Yeah,
right. So
sure.
it's a grieving process. People do it differently. I do not doubt that he cried. He might have been 100% wrong. He might have cheated. He might have done other stuff.
Yeah.
That don't mean he still can't be sad and cry every night. It doesn't mean that because you fucked up and you don't have your family. Or I don't know what I did and I don't have my family. And I don't know why she did this. And what she said was like, it was her truth, but I didn't want to accept it because that's not what I saw in my marriage.
And it's also too, like, you can take the video down. In their situation, I feel like it was unique because number one, they had been together for so long. And number two, it was common knowledge because they talked about it, how she was pretty much well into her career. I mean, she's a child star. And then she meets him like on a bus stop or something along those lines. So
it came up.
Right. She literally like pulled him up with her and they created this life just for that person to not be there anymore. And personally, when it comes to the male perspective on divorce, I haven't heard of it much. Of course, you'll hear like from the woman's perspective, but you don't really hear it from men. But it's like, well, you probably don't hear it because it will require a level of, number one, it will require a level of vulnerability, and it will also require a level of accountability, which a lot of people, men in particular, might not be comfortable with because that would involve you having to be honest about some shit that you really did. And you probably embarrassed by it and don't want anybody to know about it. So it's so many layers to it, and you just choose not to say anything.
It does take time unless you just are not open to it. Because I can speak openly about there was a moment of unhappiness. In retrospect, it was not probably as big of a moment as it felt like at the time, and the decision that I made ruined a lot of trust and a lot of growth that we had over the years, and it was no rebuilding that. Now the mature thing that has happened over time, and like if we were famous, nobody would know this because in the open nobody really knows that we have a really good relationship on social media, whatever. I mean, we don't battle like that. But she also has come to terms and saying, you know what, I could have done some things differently, and we could have. There's a moment that we probably should have had this conversation when we were a little bit more mature and less emotional, and probably would still be together. But that's just not the case right now. It's just not, and there's probably no reconciling that. When people come and talk about divorce or like are moving in that direction, because I've been out here for 6 years now, 4 or 5, 6 years. I was like, hey, you sure you just not reconcile? Is sure you can't do something about this? I mean, is it really? It's probably not as bad as it looks like.
You think it is, yeah.
Because if you look at life like a yardstick, the moments that you're going through is probably less than an inch of that yardstick in your life. If your life is the full yardstick, you'll look back on shit like that. That wasn't even that. It wasn't that bad. It was bad, but it was fixable.
And even what you're talking about now, that makes me think too, in regards to like the vulnerable moments. I know I saw Mimi's comment. She said, you got to know who you're dealing with. I think she was talking about that in regards to the communication aspect. You got to know who you're dealing with. Kayla, one of those people I got to go an extra mile to add a disclaimer for because she takes things differently than others would.
You follow up with questions. You want more clarity.
True.
There's segments of what has been stated that you have to question.
I don't find things funny that the average person might find funny. So yeah, it's like you kind of I wouldn't say the extra mile, but it is going to be a little bit more sauce added than you might have to add with the average person. And
Mhm.
it's not me doing it with ill intent. I just like to have clarity. I like to communicate effectively. And I like to kind of just get things out in the open as much as I can. But to me, in my opinion, it also makes for me to have, I feel like I have better relationships.
You're different. It's not bad. It's
Okay,
just
I was
you
gonna
just
say, see, you see how I just said he said you're different.
you're
I'm like, what you
different.
mean I'm
It's
different?
not bad.
What do you mean?
It's-
Why? Is it good? Is it bad? What do you mean?
I know.
And I'm also, and also too, I'm an overthinker. So you can say something that could be simple, and I would take it way further than it needs to be because I overthink.
your approach to thing is not common. So when you get like pushback from people or conflict from people, um, you stretch people's vulnerability with certain topics and certain questions.
Yeah, because we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
But the
and
reality
and
is that other party might not be ready to talk about
and
it.
the comfort level at the time, and what needs to you have to fully communicate with you in order to actually give you the opportunity to understand, because otherwise you like, hey, this is where I am. Why ain't you ready? Like,
And I'm also in that same moment, in that same like scope of things, I'm also too like there's a window of time that you got to talk to me about it. And if you don't bring it up at that time, don't bring that shit up later. And I'm not gonna say that that's the most
That's not fair.
healthiest, but it's this window. If you don't bring it up then, don't come to me no 30, 60, 6 months, a year after, like, hey, so remember that time? I'm not trying to hear that shit because I'm already over it now. And the window was open for you to talk about it. You didn't, and I've already moved on, and we're not going back there no more.
But my response to that is that
And I only get pushback from men about that.
it's
I feel
well,
like women understand it more.
I don't think they should, and I'm just disagreeing, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but I think if you look at it from the perspective of that fits the definition of the social media's version of narcissism, because you're ready to talk about it and I'm not ready to talk about it, and regardless of how much time goes by, because you're not ready to talk about it anymore, when I'm ready to talk about it, I can't, because you're over it.
But why aren't you ready to talk about it?
It's the same as grief. It's the same as like divorce, conflict, fight. These are all heavy emotional things that affect you, and the way you respond to it is how you respond to it. And you can't fault. Now you can't fault anybody for responding the way they do. This is like some people respond violently. Some people, and that's out of control.
Mm-hmm.
That's one extreme. The other people are super quiet, don't say anything or won't ever say anything. So that's the other extreme. In between, you got to let people kind of wrestle with their emotions and try to figure out. Like, I have moments where I have to figure out, how am I going to talk to this person about this? Now, I was interested in somebody and I was trying to have like get to know them, and they would always bring up age. Always bring up age. You know, you talk about my age. Mimi talks about my age. Everybody, that's just that thing. But the way it kept coming up was like, is this an issue? Like, what's going on? And it would be like jokey. And at one time I was like, you know what? I don't like the way you are saying it. It's not like, it's like almost like a thing. Like, if this is an issue, that's
Yeah, just say that.
Just say that.
Mhm.
And it was never said. So after a while, one day it was like an intoxicated conversation. And
that's when the truth come out.
And it came out one more time, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hang up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hang up. I didn't talk to her for like 7 months.
That's a long time.
Like 7 months. And I'm like, yeah,
that's a long processing time.
And she would reach out, and I would just like block, not block, just ignore. I didn't even block her, I just ignored her. And then finally I was like, I'm upset with you.
7 months later?
No, it was before that. It may have been 2 or 3 months.
2 or 3 months after so you circle back, and it was like the situation was made new again.
She kept reaching out.
Okay, but if she didn't reach out and it was done, you would have never went back and said anything.
No.
And so I think that's the thing for me, because it's like, if you're gonna process and
she knew though. She knew, because the conversation, I just like I said, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hang up. Me saying that,
It's like you know what you did.
you know, yeah, I'm tired of this now. Like I've said this before,
Yeah.
and so
Me
finally
neither.
when I said it, she was like, "I apologize." You know, I was like, why
And with
was
all of that time that passed, you accepted it and saying that you would have.
no? I'm still what do you have my dose of I fuck with you in a dose. Like I know how far. I mean that was harsh. Like I've joked with people, but not joked in a fashion that's like
Yeah.
truth. It was a jokey truth,
Yeah.
like
Because,
jab.
yeah.
Like it was jabs,
I
and I
see
was
what
like,
you mean.
look, these feel kind of sharp, and I'm not feeling this, and I was liking you. I
But
don't
not
like
no
I
more.
don't like you
Yeah.
anymore. It's not, and it's hard for me to actually trust that's what that's what you
Mhm.
bring to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if that's my version of like trying to protect my peace, but it's just like we talk about it now, or like I said, there is a win there.
Thank you, Mimi.
A door will be open, but you don't get to control how I process my emotions. Just like I can't do it for you. And I think that's true. That's true.
Because you're
That's
over it,
extremely valid.
and to bring back,
And
and
it's
then,
like I'm not telling you not to process them. I think it's just a time frame for me personally. My process may be sort my emotions out and weighing the pros and cons of addressing it. I may need a cooling off period to communicate without anger. And I completely and I get
now,
that.
as much as Mimi hates cancers,
Don't bring no.
just let see
No.
now. See how you actually jump
Oh,
into
I know I know where you're going.
as much as
Actually, 'cause
you
you said that. Okay, yeah.
as much as Geminis and Cancers actually are very yoked. They are yoked very well. Now, I don't know about like relationships, but friendships,
relationships, no, because I feel like a
like
Gemini will chew you up and spit you out.
no. I mean,
Yeah,
it depends on
yeah.
it depends on the ones.
It most
And you know, I think no, I don't think so. I
that
think
emotional aspect, a Gemini, and that I could be wrong, but I just think
I think if we're generalizing them, yes, but there are some people because you know on there's spectrums of people, and you know when you dig into the zodiacs, there's the different moons and all these
Yeah.
different phases and stuff. Like all those things play a role in how where they are on the spectrum.
mhm.
As much as Mimi
Look
and
at
I
the
bump
moons.
heads,
You got astrology
I fuck with Mimi. Like she like when people talk about her, like, oh, she's cool as man. She gonna tell you what the fuck it is, and that's what it is. And the humor, I still get the humor. I still get it. Whatever she,
and she's a sweetheart,
right?
but everybody don't get that.
She won't hurt my feelings. She cuts deep, but it won't hurt my feelings because I know who she is and I know where she's coming
She
from.
gonna cut you and you gonna bleed. She just gonna help you bandage it and heal from it.
Right. But the processing it, I think I communicate very well with Geminis to the point where it's a common ground when it comes to actually sharing the emotions, because there's a lot of similarities and
Good for you.
it's not black and white.
Because I don't.
It's not black and white. You're black and white.
And I feel like that's how I want to be. Like it shouldn't be any gray areas. You get what you get. It either is or it ain't.
Oh wait, she said
She read that one. Use this example. I'll use this example. Jelly Bean's dad feels like because he's over shit, she should be, and she shouldn't be able to address her feelings. That's a good example, especially in that situation, because in that situation, her feelings are in a situation like that with a parent and a child, yes, because even with me personally, like I'm almost 40 years old, and so I mean I just did a show not long ago talking about like my dad issues, and with me being the age that I am and most of those issues coming back from childhood and leading up to now, like like that timing happened and it was valid. Tommy, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
All I know is this: some of my closest and dearest relationships happen to be Geminis. They just happen to be, and it's just it's a well yoked kind of. I fucks with you, and
first time I heard of that.
Hmm?
It's the first time I've heard of that. That being a duo, very
there's
very interesting.
There's a compatibility as far as being soulmates. There's a soulmate compatibility with Cancers and Gemini.
This one with Cancer and Pisces too, and Cancers.
There
and
is
something else.
There is, because I still my ex-wife is a Pisces.
And it's a lot of water and a lot of emotions and a lot of goings on. But
you know what? We talk a lot of shit, but what's gonna happen? Like, hey, don't fuck with her, and she's don't fuck with me. It's we've been through whatever we've been through. We got each other back.
I guess that's true. because you got on my goddamn nerves. But then it's like, hey, such and such shit.
Not
It's like,
true.
I knocked their head off.
Not true. And you know what?
but-
I'm not standing up for Mimi no more. 'Cause, you know, she's drawing her line in the sand. Nigga,
You lying, because as soon as that peach Melba come,
I'm gonna have some and eat it right in her face.
Okay, we'll see how you survive. That's a lie, because Gemini's are soulless. I don't know where he's getting this from. I don't know what Gemini he done met that and rocked his world, but this is news to me. Chewed up and spit out.
Like
okay?
I said, you are on the other spectrum of of Gemini.
He said that's not your. He said that's not your sun.
That's
you,
right.
It's your moon or your goddamn rising. That's basically what he said without saying it. So he's not even associating you
got
with
two
the Gemini. He said it got something to do with your moon.
You got two
or your
moons.
rising.
You ain't no sun.
He blamed it on somebody. You know, I never pulled her birth chart. I'm gonna do that tonight because I'm actually curious to know what the rest of your stuff is. Remind me to ask you what time you was born later before the night is over. But
love you, Mimi.
But yeah, I just think that, like I said, with me kind of having this perspective and not being perfect, I just Sag moon.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
That makes so much sense.
Oh my god!
Because
that's
that's
a
the
Sag moon and a Gemini sun. Oh,
that's
makes sense.
that's the cutoff game from hell. I'm not fucking with you, petty, and I'll cut you off. You got both.
Sages are like, oh,
you're an anomaly, Mimi. That's what it is.
Why? You know what? It's so funny because I have so many Sagittarius around me, and they are all fireballs, from the youngest to the oldest. That is wild. Wow.
But I get Geminis. I understand them.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, from when you're coming from a heal perspective and really kind of just working on that, that was a situation where I definitely see like, okay, he was vulnerable and women are tearing this to shreds. And wow, I feel bad for him in that moment because he should not have had to experience that. Now, I had a woman that messaged me in regards to that post that I had made earlier. And she said, you asked a great question. I have asked the same to many, many men. There's a trend in their answers. I find that what we think of as vulnerability and it being used against them and what they're thinking aren't the same. What it looks like usually when they explain is accountability. I've had one guy be able to explain to me a situation where his vulnerability was used against him and it was a physical insecurity he had. I understood it, but I had my own thoughts on it. And then, of course, the conversation went from there. So she gave a different opinion that I hadn't thought about because she was saying in that situation, it wasn't the fact that the vulnerability was being used against you. She's heard it to where it's like, I'm holding you accountable for something. So, of course, I have to bring up said situation in order for me to hold you accountable. So it's not me using it against you. It's me using it as a means to hold you accountable. But if it's a situation where it's like, yeah, nigga, that's why you was adopted and your mama left you in a fire station when you was born, something. And that was something he hadn't told anybody but you. I mean, of course he's going to feel a way about that because you put it all out on the front street. And it might be a situation where he feels like he can't be vulnerable again moving forward. So I think that my question that's more rhetorical because we don't know the answer to it is, how do we move forward, men and women, and everybody feels emotionally safe to be vulnerable and nobody is using it against each other? Like, how do we move forward as a society where it's like, it's okay? Like, hey, boo, hope all is well.
Hey, Pookie.
How
do we?
But yeah, it's like, and again, I know we don't have the answer, but it's like, how do we move forward where it's okay for men to be vulnerable? It's okay for women to be vulnerable. It's okay for people to choose the spaces that they're vulnerable in, whether it's online, whether it's, whatever space that they choose to be vulnerable with. How do we get to a space where it's not weaponized and used against people? Because, I mean, like the comment has said earlier from the guy, he said, in his opinion, the silence is self-sabotage. And then if you're keeping all of this in, like that can be healthy. So how do you get men to release this thoughts and this narrative that they can't be vulnerable because it's going to be used against them. Like, how do you get them to release that and move forward and feel free enough to speak their minds and say what they say and just be like emotionally available and healthy. And that's what I thought about when I watched that video, because normally I would just scroll through comments and scroll past and be like, oh, that sucks. But I don't know, it just kind of hit me differently. And maybe because a lot of it might have to do because I have a son who's going to grow up to be a man, and I don't want him being in a relationship where he feels like he can't express himself. And so I'm proud of the fact that I have a child that's vocal and expressive, and he doesn't mind telling people how he feels about any given thing. I can only hope that he's able to carry that throughout adulthood, and he always stays like that, because I never want him to be in a situation where he feels like he has to shut down and not express himself because he's run into somebody that has used that against him. So I'm very intentional about doing my part and making sure I'm not putting another one of those men out in the world that they're not comfortable being vulnerable for, whatever reasons. I want to make sure that I set him up appropriately, not only for himself, but for society and any woman that he comes across his path. So, yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about that and really acknowledge that it definitely was something that I really didn't care too much about before because of kind of just where I was and things that I have, gone through. But seeing that it kind of made me sad, and I hope that he stayed out of the comments and he didn't read them, because I can foresee that being something where maybe if he has another interview, he might shy away from being as open as he was. And it seemed like, with body language and him talking about it, it had to have been a freeing moment for him, because people have been throwing around all of these different opinions and narratives, and he's been quiet. So with him speaking up, I thought that was actually pretty dope for him to finally be doing. So
I don't think I don't think that we should stop being vulnerable based off of how the context is, because if it's freeing, it's freeing. If it's going to help you, because it's not for other people, it's for you.
Yeah.
And if he's sitting up there and he's expressing how he feels, regardless of what the comments say or what people feel, that was his truth, and he should be able to speak his truth regardless, because nobody was in their house. Nobody was there. So
and hopefully he's mentally in a place where he views it like the way you just said it, and he's like, whatever, no,
I said that boldly, but I'm sure if I read the comments after that, I would be pissed off. Like, I'm pissed
no,
off
but me
for him.
too. Like, I admittedly, like, if I was in that situation, I would feel away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I'm vocal and vulnerable on social media, and I've come leaps and bounds as far as me, like, getting to a place where I don't care about what people think or what people have to say about how vulnerable I am. People always have something to say about something that I'm saying, something that I'm posting, or me saying too much or saying too little. And most of the people that have things to say about it don't realize that this has not always been who I was. You're looking at somebody who had a baby and nobody even knew that I was pregnant until I literally posted on social media that I had gave birth. And nobody ever knew anything about me, what was going on, what I was doing. I was in a whole ass abusive relationship too. Nobody knew that I was going through any level of abuse for years and years, until I finally spoke up and said something. And when I say nobody, I mean my mom, I mean best friends, I mean people who were close to me, family member. Nobody knew that I was in a house where I was being abused until it finally came out. So for me going to being that person to who I am now, I've come leaps and bounds. And so that's why when I am open and transparent and vulnerable, it's like, let me be that, because there was a time where that didn't happen. There was a time I could have been dead and gone, and nobody would have they would have been like, oh my God, I didn't even know she had all of this going on. And also, to full disclosure, the little bit that I post on social media is nothing compared to the real day-to-day shit. That's a very, very small amount of it. And the people that know me know my life be like a reality show on most days. And the part that gets posted is a very, very small synopsis of it. But if that's what I need to do for myself in order to feel free, then that's what I'm going to do. And people don't see behind the scenes there when there's so many people that will reply to a story or an inbox or text and say, man, like I'm going through the same thing. And it feels good to know that somebody else is going through it and they're getting through it. I appreciate you for speaking up. That's what keeps you doing it, because you never know who needs the testimony that's on the inside of you. You never know who you're blessing and speaking up. So that's why I'll always speak up and speak out, because you never know who needs what's on the inside of you. And I mean, hell, that's where the birth of Conversations with Coco came from. I am intentional about talking about things that the average podcast or the average social media outlet might not necessarily talk about. It doesn't always get the people going. It's not always the most popular thing, but it's things that I deem to be important and things that I've heard from people that are important. I hope that men, I do. And when I say it, I want it to be like, I would hope that the vulnerability would be like a healthy aspect. Not like some of the situations where they like jumping on like podcasts and it's just not really like productive. I would like to see it come from a healthy place. I would like to see it be accepted, and for all of us to kind of just be able to come together and everybody just has that emotional safety.
I would like to probably borrow this topic and share it with the Grown Ass Man Experience, just to kind of get their take, because we talked about men's mental health and we opened up about a little bit. We didn't use the word vulnerability, but it was touched upon, and I would like to. And
that was a good episode, because with y'all being friends like you are, people were saying things that y'all didn't even know about each other. Mm-hmm. And you were able to say one situation and get everybody's perspective and be like, oh my God, I never knew you felt like that. Or, oh my God, I didn't even think about the fact that you went through this or you went through that. Like it was a good episode, and y'all learned a lot about each other in that moment. Mm-hmm. So just imagine if those vulnerable moments that came out then had came out like back then, and how it might have been able to shape everybody's grief process differently. Maybe
if I was going back to how you process things and I was being closed-minded or being cold or kind of just walling off, and you were trying to figure out what was wrong with me, mm-hmm. there would be a level of frustration from you because I wasn't being open. But in actuality, it took 2024, took 3 years for me to actually still process what I was going through. Mm-hmm. It's still developing now,
because it's grief, and grief is in stages, and grief mm-hmm. doesn't have a time stamp on it.
Right. So but those grief circumstances affect life circumstances too. Yeah. So they don't relate to each other, but they affect them. Yeah. So if I am thinking that, all right, I'm going to just close that off, I'm going to try this to try to take my mind off, because this is what I need. And I realize this isn't it. This ain't working. Yeah. It's actually making things a little bit worse. So you make decisions emotionally and then decide what, like for example, I can't remember what it was, but someone was upset with a person. It was a really healthy conversation. And they said, you disrupted my peace. I had peace. You disrupted my peace and you weren't ready.
I've said that to somebody. I've said that before.
But in the state that I was in, I'm looking for peace, and I have a conversation or an interaction with someone that makes me happy, and might be falsely happy, but I feel like this rush of emotion that makes me feel good. And all of a sudden I don't again, because it was a false sense, and I brought you into it, and now I'm not. And then I brought you in, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why aren't you talking to me? Why you? And I'm like, this ain't working. And then now you're upset, and I brought you into my emotional mess, and I was never ready to do that. But I didn't have the counseling, the therapy, the understanding of what I was going through. I thought, I need to move on. I need to do this because this is best for me. This is healthy. And the person would be like, this is what you need to do. You need to get over that. Which now thinking back, like, you can't tell somebody to get over something. It's just hard. Like, get over the fact that you were like ostracized from your family for a moment. Like, get over that. Like, that was the past, kind of thing. You're like, no, that still hurts. It hurts now.
Yeah.
There are moments that things hurt. Things trigger it and make you hurt again. And you're like, right, I need to get over this. But On the
So
soapbox.
yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Did you see my post about my hair products?
Actually, conveniently, let's go into our WTF segment. Did it work? I pushed it twice. I might have messed it up.
No, something about it.
Did y'all hear my little button on my ends
No.
in the comments?
No, you can't.
I actually was getting ready to say that I don't have a WTF moment for the week.
Press it again.
What kind of week did I have? I mean,
I'm gonna see if
I've
it
been
works.
I've been in an emotional space for the last 2 weeks. Not gonna explain it. Still figuring it out. I did have a great day yesterday because I was able to get in water and it helped me feel grounded. And I actually slept amazingly well last night because I haven't been sleeping the best over the last week. And I haven't really been saying much about it because I just didn't want to bring anybody into it. And like I said, it's been super chaotic. But she said, "No, y'all suck. Get your buttons up. This not my stuff." Wow. Now it works. So it's like a minute or two delay. So yeah, I was glad that I was able to have that moment. I got in the water. I like laid out a blanket. I was literally like laying in the sand. I had my lunch. I had music. I had my sunglasses. I had my little tumbler with my drink in it. And I was in a place. It was just so surreal. And I feel like that's what I needed to reset this space that I was in. So maybe I'll open up and talk about that. But like I said, some things I kind of just keep, and I haven't talked to anybody really about that. Well, I mean, I guess we kind of talked a little bit.
Well, congratulations on getting in the water, and that does.
I felt so grounded.
Mhm.
It's almost like I just dropped everything there and walked away, and it really felt amazing. But WTF moments for this week? No, y'all suck. How do I suck?
How would we suck?
Let's say TDR sucks.
I have nothing to do with the buttons.
This ain't our shit, and it worked.
It fucks up when I'm doing my.
It worked twice. So let's give you the WTF moment. So background: Tommy is an empty nester, and when his daughter left, so did her hair products. Because if you don't know Tommy's grade of hair, he's about, I don't know, he might be like a 4B. Like the curls be curling, y'all. I'm actually like jealous. Like
I don't know what that
you put
means.
water on his hair and it literally, like, he has very good coils. Yeah. So when his daughter moved out, her hair products went with her.
No, don't know. When
For the most part.
she literally left a lot of stuff.
And he ran out of it. And this was the first time in probably years that you've had to go to the store and really like do a full re-up.
Ever.
I
never.
So
knew-
you didn't know what was on the
I
market.
never knew
much.
the importance of types of shampoo. I didn't know types of conditioner. I didn't know the level of complexity.
You also didn't know how expensive.
No, really quick in like 20 seconds. Taj, my daughter, was very, very, very good at researching, watching YouTubes, watching tutorials and stuff about different hair products and what they do and what they cause and what others are bad for, what kinds of types of hairstyle, hair types is good for. And she doesn't have the same hair type as I do, but the stuff that she bought actually works.
Yeah.
It worked for me. And I was like, oh, she had like a customized like shampoo that she had ordered and had her name on it and stuff. I was like, this smells good. And it worked. And she left that there. She left the conditioner. And I'm down to the last drop. It's not gone. I was like, I need to re-up. And I'm looking through the section to try to re-up. And I'm like, what? Damn, why is it so expensive?
It is.
And it's not expensive, but it is when you have to collectively buy shampoo and conditioner and like the oil or the cream or whatever. You end up spending $40
or more. I spend more because I got somebody who's locked in my house. That's a set of products, which he mainly used Shea Moisture. And then I have my hair products that
Shea Moisture was like $12.
Then you got Taraji stuff. Her stuff is expensive.
Her stuff is like $10.
Yeah. So imagine, yeah.
And
it's literally a bill.
And I'm in there reading the bottles and trying
you have to. It's a process.
So I posted that. Talk about vulnerability. This is still on the end. I posted that. And I don't know if you saw Max's response.
I didn't see the post. I have to look.
He ribbed me for like being out there and being concerned about my hair and the because he read the bottles and whatnot. Like, man, what are you doing out here looking at this feminine stuff?
Vulnerability on your social media don't go well.
It don't go
You might
well.
need to stop.
So it went this far. Screenshot of my post and put into another group that I'm in a sports group I'm in, and we bring each other up on charges when there's like a man law violation. So apparently I had a man law violation for being concerned about my hair care products.
Well, I mean, you're dealing with men who probably still use 3-in-1.
No, I'll kill them.
They using body wash,
No.
the body wash, the shampoo, and conditioner.
No, these niggas are bald. They don't have no hair.
That's why they ain't got no hair.
I was like, nigga, don't come for me. No, I'm sorry.
I got all this. I got all.
I'm sorry
this.
I'm sorry you don't care about the quality of your hair and the products and how they smell. Shit, I mean,
the smell too. I spent $60 for leave-in conditioner and oil yesterday for bundles. It was worth it though. Yeah, it's always worth it.
after I
It's
use it,
always worth it. But the money that you spend, my God.
I used to go to my barber, and my barber would wash my beard and my hair every sitting.
Mhm.
Since I've been using the product, he come in, he touched my hair, and he just don't go. He start cutting it.
You like, oh,
That
yeah.
level of trust. He's like, oh yeah, okay.
You
I
better
got-
take care of yours.
I'm taking care of my shit ain't dirty, and I'm because he had a theory. He washes everybody. As soon as you come in, he's like, go to the
I mean, you should.
go to the sink. So he'll have somebody in the chair. He's like, hey Tommy, what's up? Go to the sink.
Plus, you putting the clippers and stuff on somebody dirty.
He definitely goes in and he does this. He puts his fingers in my hair, and
And my highest expense for myself is conditioner.
conditioner
I use
is
more conditioner
crazy.
than anything because I will co-wash and I don't always use the shampoo. Tommy Curls be curling. I just went shopping for my brother, licensed cosmetologist. You actually haven't posted a picture with your haircut that you have now. Everybody, it's not public knowledge.
Oh yeah, I cut my hair.
Yeah, he cut his hair. Not extreme. He actually backtracked to like a year ago. Maybe like a little more than a year ago.
Yeah, it's
He went back to basics and we kind of restarting over again. So it's not really giving Quest love. It's giving, I don't know who's giving.
I don't know, but
It's giving 45. It's giving young nigga.
My daughter and my ex-wife said I looked unkept. That's what they said.
Oh, before?
Yeah, they
Oh,
said
yeah.
I was looking
Yeah,
unkept.
I can see that.
I was, but I didn't. I was going for. I was going for the I'm the artist look. I'm an artist. Like I would wear my artist clothes and
You
I'd
did.
let my hair. Let
And
my
see,
hair
ever
do
since
its
you got
thing.
your haircut, you be putting your clothes together, your little shoe. Look at you. It's the summer. Tommy said the hose is out.
Well,
He got them curls. But yeah, y'all, I appreciate you for tuning in to this episode of Conversations with Coco. I am getting ready to
one more comment.
find food. Baby, my motto is investing in bundles like it's yours because they are very expensive. And I am one that I reuse hair. So I take care of it. I reuse hair. This hair, if I can reuse it, it's gonna be reused because this hair is not cheap at all whatsoever. It's not cheap this actual hair is not cheap. And to get this hairstyle is not cheap. So if I can reuse it in any way I can, your girl gonna be reusing it. A lot of the hairstyles y'all see is reused because I take care of it. So if you're gonna spend money on it, then yes, you are correct. Take care of it. But yes, until next time, I'm gonna call y'all back. Have a great weekend.
Peace.